protection, they gon' hold you. The streets got me fucked up. Y'all can miss me. I wanna represent for us.
It's Film Friday, and we are back with episode 9 of Film News You Can Use. I actually took 2 weeks off to just, take some time off and actually go out there and hunt and gather some film news that I thought you could actually use. So I'm back today with a really exciting show. We're going to jump into the Real, and today's Real is actually featuring a documentary that I had actually forgot that this should happen, right? I had forgot all about this entire incident, and then a producer-director friend of mine who I really respect sent me a screenshot and was like, the caption I think said, "He needs to wrap this up." My friends are hilarious. And I was like, yes, he absolutely needs to wrap this up. And then I watched the documentary and I was like, yeah, I don't know. If I was him, I wouldn't have wrapped this up. Like, I feel absolutely like he needed to do this. So let's get into the real, because today we're talking all about the new Netflix documentary that's sitting at number 9 right now on Netflix, The Truth About Jussie Smollett. Let's get into it. So I was first introduced to Jussie Smollett sometime in the mid-90s, I believe. His family, which I thought was pretty amazing. It was like this family of like 8, 9, or 10 mixed race kids. And they had this show. It was pretty short-lived. I think they maybe only had one season. It was called On Our Own. Remember that?
The oldest brother. We've been on our own since we lost our parents. We were doing just fine until this lady showed up.
Without a relative to assume custody, I'm afraid your family will have to be split up.
So we had to come up with a legal guardian, and fast. I'll do anything to keep this family together. I pretended to be our aunt from Memphis, Mama J. I didn't fool Miss Michaels, but she turned out to be our friend. What I didn't count on was her boss falling for Mama J.
There's so much we don't know about each other.
Honey, you have no idea. And now, we are really on our own.
Wishing on the moon, star bright, climbing up.
Anyway, that was my first introduction to the whole Smollett family. And from there, Journey went off and kind of blew up. And then we didn't really hear from any of the other family members until Jussie kind of popped back up again on Empire. Actually, I think he was in Mighty Ducks. He played the younger brother to Brandon Quinton Adams on one of the Mighty Ducks films. I don't know if it was 1 or 2. But yeah, he was in that. And then he popped up again in Empire. And it was like, oh shit, this guy is back. He can sing, he can dance. He's really talented. And everything was going great until it wasn't. Now, I immediately reserve judgment on this, because if you look at all the facts from the very beginning, he was right in the middle of a good run on Empire. I think this actually happened right before I stopped watching the show. I mean, because, towards the end, Empire just got absolutely ridiculous and just turned into a nighttime soap that was just outlandish with the storylines. But this is when the show was still going great. He was making good money. He was singing on the show. He was getting paid for the music that was streaming from the show. And he was also starting to direct episodes of the show. So for him to set this up just seemed unlikely. Like, I never really thought he was lying. But here's the thing. I also remember saying, if he is lying, I don't care.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
Jerry.
I feel like white people have done way worse throughout the course of American history. One nigga lying about a hate crime up against the millions of hate crimes that have been done against black people that have been totally fabricated by white men and white women. I'm sorry, I just didn't give a shit. And if you want to judge me based on that, go ahead. I really didn't care if he was lying. I'm like, what is it hurting? But of course, the Chicago police did this whole big thing about how he wasted police hours and all this shit. Okay, let's get into the real facts of what happened. I found a perfect clip to lay it all out for you in case you haven't seen it. Here are the facts.
Die and then go to hell, be resurrected again and sent to the deepest pits of hell before I ever believed the Chicago Police Department. And a lot of y'all owe Jussie Smollett an apology. Let's get into it. So let's talk about the cops that investigated him first. 38 cops, and between all those cops, 500 plus misconduct complaints, everything from sexual misconduct, shooting people, and more. Now, 16 lawsuits all paid out by the city. Keep in mind, the responding officer, so the guy that went to the scene, is somebody that had been previously written up for making homophobic hate speech comments to a black man. The top cop that pushed the narrative that Jussie was lying is somebody that was fired for misconduct. Those 38 cops and their misconduct complaints, they leave out the fact that there's multiple witnesses that corroborated Jussie's story of it being white men that attacked him. Okay, Chicago police doctored the footage, but no one is surprised here, especially if you know what they did with Laquan McDonald. They did the same thing when a teenager was shot 16 times. They doctored the footage and they lied. And they did the same thing with Jussie Smollett. Now let's get into these lying ass motherfuckers. And yes, that is a MAGA hat, and no, sorry, I'm not bleeping it out. So it turns out one of the brothers was a convicted felon, and when the Chicago Police Department searched their home, they came into contact with firearms that was owned by the brother that was a convicted felon. Why does this matter? Because if you are a convicted felon, you lose your gun rights, right? So in order to get rid of a 10-year felony charge that he had for attempted murder, he strikes a deal with the Chicago Police Department to say that they were there. And this is something that was shown in the documentary, and the people that were part of the department were like, that's not what was shown. That's not what was shown. I saw it with my eyeballs, okay? On top of that, they benefited from all of this as aspiring actors. After they did this entire thing where they lied and capitulated and lied, okay? There was Fox News they were on. They made multiple appearances where they were essentially celebrities. And then they have footage of the attackers. And guess what? It's not these guys. It's not. All right? And then they're releasing a book that no one's going to ever freaking read. So if you didn't know by now, Jussie had his conviction eventually overturned because his rights were violated.
Now you take all of that account, and you take the fact that one of the brothers was a felon who had 8 or 9 automatic assault rifles in the house at the time their house was searched, and you get a recipe for a setup. Keep in mind, he repealed this and got it thrown out, and it just kind of went away. But with the Chicago police's history, with the people who were on the case, with all the facts that got laid out, I think we owe Jussie Smollett an apology. All right? And if it's one of those kind of things where it's so far gone and the news is just so old, because remember, this happened in 2019 before COVID, and you just don't give a shit anymore, I feel you on that. But if you're one of those people who wants some answers, I think you should check out the documentary. Here's the trailer. Give me your thoughts.
Is on, as it always was, and I hear in the background, breaking news, Empire star Jussie Smollett has been attacked. And at that moment, I knew that this was bigger than I could really put my finger on. I called my mother, and I told her, and I certainly tried to downplay it. I said, Mommy, I was in a fight. I'm okay. Everything's fine. And then it just snowballed from there.
And as much as I hate to bring this guy into it, because he's always in the right place at the right time and in the wrong place at the right time, the prophet Kendrick Lamar. You might have been as confused as I was when you saw him in that deepfake video that he did for The Heart Part 5 when he turned into Jussie Smollett.
Witness protection, they gon' hold you. The streets got me fucked up. Y'all can miss me. I wanna represent for us.
And now it's all beginning to make sense. If you watch that clip again from that video, after watching this documentary, you just think, I think Kendrick just don't miss. Being a Compton native, I love that for him, and I love it for us. All right? So that's it for today's Real Real. Let's get into Stream Queen. I am very, very excited about today's pick because, again, it's another Cali cult classic. Okay, so today's pick for Stream Queen was a film that I was going to review when it initially came out. But based on the trailer, I just didn't really understand it. And the research I did on it didn't tell me much about it. But I ended up streaming it this weekend, and I absolutely loved it. We're talking about Oakland Bay area's Freaky Tales.
This girl, her name was Joan. She loved the way I rock on the microphone. When I met Joan, I took her home. She was just like a doggy all on my...
Now, what I love about Freaky Tales is that it's set in 1987. They got me already. You know, I'm a nostalgic girl. I love everything 80s and 90s. That's my era. So it's set in 1987. And it's this choppy, Tarantino-esque, mixtape style movie that is broken down into 4 bits that follow these 4 different set of character scenarios that all intertwine and build up to this amazing end crescendo. And it's got an amazing cast. I mean, you got Jay Ellis in it playing a basketball player. You have Pedro Pascal playing a headhunter, you know what I mean? Like a mafia enforcer. You've got Normani in this playing a rapper. You even have a cameo from Simba playing a young Too Short. Too Short actually makes a cameo in this. And Tom Hanks and also Angus Cloud, Oakland's own Angus Cloud from Euphoria, rest in peace. Always hard to see Angus on screen, just a life cut down way too soon. But it's an amazing movie. I don't know how well it did in the box office. I don't think it really did well at all. I think that they just didn't really market it well. But it is a really cool film. If you're at home on a Friday or Saturday night and you've got HBO Max, it's definitely worth streaming. I give it 2 thumbs up, no middle fingers. Freaky Tales is now streaming on HBO Max. Check it out, and if you do, let me know what you think.
The underdog believes he can do the impossible. Defeat the bully, sell enough mixtapes to get out of the hood. But I can say with certainty, this underdog has seen his last day.
Yo, wait, hold up. We gotta take it from the top.
We got one more job for you. Sleepy Floyd, Warriors point guard. His house is gonna be empty on game night. He's got a vault full of ancient Asian artifacts.
Yesterday was the last job. I did it. I'm done.
You're done when we say you're done.
Fuck you.
What happened next has been debated over the years. But this is the tale as I know it to be.
I found it!
Did you see that? Yeah. That's so rad.
You don't expect it. Hi, I'm Sleepy Floyd.
Floyd's out there slicing people up with a sword.
Can you repeat that?
Wasn't every day a story like this hit the town.
There's too many of them.
That's bullshit. We fight.
But for those who lived through it, it became the stuff of legends.
What happened here? You fucked with the wrong warrior.
But that's all for Stream Queen. Let's get into Studio Shade because we're going to have to spend some time here. Buckle up. Magnolia. So this week in Studio Shade, we're going to give the Donkey of the Day award, if we were the Breakfast Club, to Magnolia Films for greenlighting this atrocity that is going to be The Carpenter's Son, starring Nicolas Cage and FKA Twigs. Now, it's just, it bothers me that people try to pervert the gospel. It's like, we don't need a horror movie based around the birth of Jesus Christ. Like, horror and Jesus Christ don't go together, Magnolia. Nicolas Cage, as he's getting older, he's just doing more and more damage to his film resume. FKA Twigs, I had originally wanted to say something because, like, this made me mad. Like, a lot of Christians and, you know, people who are believers are very upset about this. To me, it's typical Hollywood BS. I mean, it's something that they probably greenlit to get people up in arms. Nobody's going to go see this when it goes out to theaters, except for probably atheists, weird people, Satanists, and people who just want to go and see what it's all about. I know, I'm telling you off the rip, I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to stream it. I'm not going to give a minute of my time past this review to this film, and I'm only reviewing it because the audacity. Like, I mean, I think they're trying to basically say that, you know, it's a genre spin inspired by extra biblical lore, but it's based off of a gospel that was never admitted into the Bible that was basically written off as heresy. So you taken a book that was never admitted into the Bible, that was written off as heresy, and decided to, I think it was an account of Thomas, and tried to make a film of it. And I guess it's trying to basically showcase all of the demonic activity surrounding the birth of Jesus. And, you know, I just don't know that we need this. And when I say I don't know, I mean I know. We don't need this. Nicolas Cage is starring as Joseph, F.K. Twigs is playing Mary, and Noah Jupe is playing the boy, which I guess would be Jesus. The trailer looks whack. It looks dry. It looks cheap. It doesn't look well done. And I just don't really see this doing anything. And I don't know why Magnolia would greenlight this. I mean, if you're trying to compete with A24, you're not doing a great job. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't one of those films that is going to put you guys on the map as standing out as the up and coming studio and distributor that's, you know, doing big things and doing things that matter. No one cares about this outside of outrage. But with all that being said, let's check out this 25-30 second trailer and you let me know what you think in the comments. And I would just like to add to that FK Twigs, you look old as hell. They have you looking like somebody's old ass auntie. You don't look like a 14-year-old virgin. Okay? So that's all for Studio Shade. Let's get into the red carpet rundown. So this week's red carpet rundown is being brought to us by the Venice Film Festival. The Venice Film Festival was like a 2-3 day festival where people come out, they do a couple of looks. You'll see them on a Friday or a Saturday and a Sunday, and you know, it's a bunch of differential looks that you get on the carpet. This year's was very interesting, to say the least. So I'm going to let the sound effects do the talking on this one. And you guys let me know what you think about some of these looks in the comments. Let's get into it.
Absolutely atrocious.
Whew, now that was a red carpet for the books. I feel like, though, if there was ever a place to take a chance on your red carpet look, it would be the Venice Film Festival. And chances were taken. So shout out to everybody who was on the red carpet at the Venice Film Festival. That was really interesting. Thanks for rocking with me. This is it for Film News today. If you are here, please hit the like button. Please share it with a film friend that loves film as much as you do. And if you have not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We need all the subscribers that we can get. All right. But that's all for this week. I'll be back next week with more fun film news, God willing. And until next time, thanks for rocking with me. This has been Film News You Can Use.